140 are hurt.
Some of the improvised bombs packed enough explosive power to bring across the western side of the Tigris River that divides the city. One of the attacks hit nearby the Ministry of Culture, but authorities saw no clear pattern in the targets. Violence in Iraq is surging as negotiations over government formation drag into their second month. Iraq's elections on March 7th produced no clear majority in the parliament, and complicated coalition building between Shiites, Sunnis, and Kurds may last for months. American military officials had warned that a prolonged deadlock could result in a power vacuum that insurgents can exploit. Nonetheless, the Obama administration appears to be going ahead with plans to withdraw 45,000 soldiers from Iraq by the 1st of September. Quill Lawrence, NPR News, Baghdad.
Republican National Chairman Michael Steele faces staff departures after last week's scandal involving a GOP donors event at a bondage-themed nightclub. NPR's Peter Overby reports Steele's problems continue despite his attempts to reassure major contributors.
Steele put out a statement that he's doing all he can to ensure the RNC's money is used, quote, in the best possible fashion. A fundraising staffer was fired last week after paying $1,900 for a party for some RNC Young Eagles donors. It was at a Hollywood nightclub with a leather and bondage theme and simulated sex shows. The publication Politico reports that a key fundraiser has walked away from the RNC. Missouri businessman Sam Fox is one of the party's most prolific money men and is well connected with other establishment donors. And Chief of Staff Ken McKay, a longtime associate of Steele's, resigned late Monday. Steele also faces complaints over a new hire, a fundraiser who was fined 3 years ago for misusing money at a political action committee where he worked. Peter Overby, NPR News, Washington.
British Prime Minister Gordon Brown says voters will go to the polls on May 6th. Conservatives are mounting a major challenge to Brown's Labour Party, which has been in power for 13 years. The latest polls show conservatives ahead. This is NPR News.
It's 9:04. I'm Rick Ganley with New Hampshire Public Radio News. New study shows increasing frequency of heavy rainstorms in the Northeast and says it's consistent with global warming. Researchers of the University of New Hampshire say in the study released Monday, so-called extreme precipitation events have been occurring more often in the region in the past 60 years. Those are events defined as storms producing at least an inch of rain or the water equivalent of snow over a 24-hour period. The rainstorm last week that swamped parts of New England would fit those criteria, but UNH professor Cameron Wake said there's no way to link a specific storm to global warming. The study examined precipitation data in 9 northeastern states from 1948 to 2007. Wake says global warming creates more water vapor, which can lead to storms with greater intensity. A Vermont House committee is expected this week to put the finishing touches on a bill that would mark the third effort in recent years to strengthen the fund set aside to pay for dismantling the Vermont Yankee nuclear plant when it does shut down. The House Natural Resource and Energy Committee is hoping to avoid a scenario that the Federal Nuclear Regulatory Commission says would be all right, mothballing the Vernon reactor for up to 60 years while the decommissioning fund grows, in hopes that it would eventually meet the cost of removing the reactor's radioactive components. This is NHPR News.
Support for NPR comes from Lumber Liquidators, whose flooring includes pre-finished and stained solid hardwoods, bamboo, cork, and laminates. Information at lumberliquidators.com.
Support for NHPR comes from you, our members, and from PSNH, helping you prepare for power outages with tips and suggestions at psnh.com/storm safety. Also, PSNH storm updates on Facebook and Twitter. And Cambridge Trust Company of New Hampshire, a 120-year-old independent financial institution committed to thoughtful, comprehensive wealth management. CambridgeTrust.com. The forecast for today, some morning sunshine across the state, but turning cloudy with a chance of showers this afternoon. Highs from the upper 50s north to mid-60s south. Clouds with showers tonight, temperatures statewide in the 40s, and clouds with showers for Wednesday in the North Country. Central and southern regions will turn mostly sunny and warm. Highs tomorrow from the mid-60s north to mid-80s in the south. In Concord, it's 55 degrees. In Derry, it's 62. In Littleton, 49. In Keene, it's 45 degrees. And in Portsmouth, it's 59. In Manchester, 58 degrees. I'm Rick Ganley, and this is New Hampshire Public Radio News.
From New Hampshire Public Radio, I'm Laura Canoy, and this is The Exchange. phenomenon or flash in the pan, passionate or extremist, rabble-rousers, or needed voice of concern, depending on where you stand on the political spectrum or where you stand on the issues, will shape how you feel about this new political movement, the Tea Party. Mostly the media has portrayed Tea Partiers at their most frenzied, protesting in Harry Reid's hometown, spitting and name-calling at the U.S. Capitol, or sometimes in a more positive light, shaking up Republican primary races in Tennessee, Virginia, Ohio, New Jersey, and elsewhere. But beyond the rallies, who are those who make up this movement? It's hard to define. The Tea Party is a loose coalition of conservative and libertarian-leaning groups, largely focused on low taxes and limited government, but also holding various concerns from the right to life to the right to work. According to